Hey everybody, welcome back to CM Fab. I'm Chris. This is my 1981 Toyota race truck build. No, we're not going to make it to SEMA this year. All right, everyone, welcome back to the channel. Like I said, we're not going to make SEMA 2024, maybe SEMA 2030. Not that that's ever been an option. But for real, this week we're going to turn these cardboard gussets here that I made about a year ago into some metal ones. Shouldn't take too long. Never really done anything like this before, so we'll see. Well, I've already seen. You guys will see how it goes. I think it went pretty well. All right, so let's go ahead and get after it. All right, so I got my upper and my lower templates made. The dimple dies on here aren't necessarily where they're going to go. I just kind of was drawing it so I could see it in my head. I'll probably add at least one more in there so they're not so spaced out. What we're going to do is take this to our steel here, trace it out on there, cut it out. Hopefully one day I'll get a plasma table again. I won't have to do it with a cutoff wheel. Take it off. Again, scribe it on our steel over there, cut it out, then we'll take it to the truck and see what looks good for our dimple dies. Let's get out. All right, so you can see here I got my upper gussets for the cage. They do match the template pretty well. I still want to make sure they match the truck perfect. I've been kind of going back and forth just to make sure they do. But before we weld them in, obviously I'm going to do kind of a final measurement. Next step is going to be putting the dimple die holes in. I originally was going to go with 4, but the spacing kind of looks too much for me. So I'm going to see what it'll look like with 5 or 6. I'll do the same math. It's about 19 inches from top to bottom. I'll divide that by 5 to get my evenly spaced holes. And then I'll do the same thing on this other one. I'll do 6 and then hold them up side by side, see which one kind of looks better. I'm gonna do all that marker before I end up drilling the holes. I think these are 1.5 inch dimple die. So we'll see what the spacing looks like with that. I do have, I think, 1 inch and then a 1/2 inch, but those will probably be too small for this wide of a plate. All right, so we're gonna go ahead, measure it out. I'm gonna do that off camera because I need my camera to do the math. I cannot do that in my head. And then we'll come back, draw all the holes, see what it looks like, and then start drilling.
A few moments later.
All right, so I did one here that has the 6 holes. So we're gonna go ahead and do one with only 5 holes just to see what it looks like. What I did here for the math was I took about 1.5 inches off of each side for my first hole. So I'll mark it here, 1.5 inches. And here, 1.5 inches. And then I took how many spaces in between each hole I need, which is 4 since I'm doing 5 holes. And the math came out just below 4 inches each. It was like 3.96 or something like that. So I'm just gonna go to 4 just to see how it is. My measuring tape isn't that accurate, right? So I will do 4 here. And I'm actually tracing out my smaller dimple die because this hole diameter is about the same as the actual dimple on that portion. And then I just line it up where I can see my mark in the center there. I try to get it in the center as much as possible. I forgot to draw the center line down the middle. I'll do that before I drill it. But we'll go ahead and we'll make sure it's in the middle there. And then we'll trace around each one. I can kind of tell I'm already going to like the 6-hole better. Just leaves a less blank space, I guess you could say. All right, last one. Remember, this is a how I do, not a how to. I'm sure there's easier ways to do this or better ways to do this. You could probably put it into Fusion, design it all up, and cut out the holes in Fusion, and have Syncets do it. And so there's our 5-hole, and there's our 6-hole. I like the look of that a little bit better, I think, versus that. There's too much blank space in here. When I hold it up to the truck, it probably wouldn't look too bad, but I think I just like the look of more dimple dies. Usually people like more dimple dies anyways. So I think this is what we're going to go with. What I'll do, I'll mark the center line, and then I'll mark each center point of the hole better. That way I can hammer it. I can hammer it and drill it out without the drill bit walking or anything. Can I help you? Come here. Yes. Can I help you? Where's your brother? All right, let's go. Go on. Or just walk around. That's cool too. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and mark them and then take it over to the drill press. All right, so I got my center lines marked. My holes are center punched for where I'm going to end up drilling them out. I'm going to take them over to the drill press over here, drill them out to about 1 inch. That's what the hole punch there is, the inner diameter here. That's what that is. And then I have a little hydraulic press thing that I can squeeze them together to actually put the dimple in. So I'm going to go ahead, drill them out, and then we'll come back before I start actually making the dimples. All right, so I went ahead, got all these drilled out to the right size. I think my GoPro died while I was doing it, so I don't know if it all got captured. Next, we're going to take this fancy little Amazon special tool here, and it's a hydraulic pump that when you pump it, it pulls these two separate dimple dies together and then creates the dimple in the metal itself. I'll pull it out and we'll go over it again, at least how I do it. I don't have a hydraulic press, which is normally how it's done. You just put it in the press and squeeze the two dimples together. This was my cheap way of doing it since I don't have that press. I can't remember how much this cost, but it was bought a while ago before prices got insane. So I'll go ahead and get this set up and then we'll hop on over to it. Whew, it's getting hot out here. All right, so how this works, excuse me. All right, so how this works is, like I said, this will squeeze down on the two dimples here. So it'll squeeze those two with the metal in between, and then that will put the dimple in the metal. I went back and forth a couple of times just to make sure that I have the right side up because I don't want my dimples facing out. I want them facing in towards the cab. So I went back and forth a couple of times just to make sure I was doing it the right way because I'll probably still end up doing it the wrong way. But the top side is marked now, which means I want my dimple to go inward towards the cab. So I'm making sure that my dimple here is going to go into this side, and then the actual part that it goes into will be on the back side. So go ahead and put that there. Slide our metal down onto it. Put our other piece on. And then I just take one of the actual cutters from this kit and we thread it on here backwards so that it doesn't cut into my dimple die. And then we just make sure this is tight. Start pumping. With this metal, I don't know what it is, like 18 gauge or something. It's pretty easy. Go until it stops. Relieve the pressure. Take the part off. And now we have a nice dimple. It is bent a little bit. I'll show you how we can get rid of that here in just a second. I'm going to go ahead and do the rest of these. That way I don't have to keep swapping the machine back and forth. I can just do them all and then flatten them all back out. Tighten it back up. Pump it. See, pretty easy. Go ahead and knock all these out. All right, now you can see our panel's curved. You could just push it flat, right, to get most of it out of there. But easiest way I've found to do it is kind of do it backwards. So we're gonna put our dimple in there backwards. Might need a bigger one for this. Put our flat part on. Make sure the dimple lines up in there. So hopefully you guys can see that. And we pump it flat. And it kind of will end up flattening out each dimple die itself. I think I saw like Puddin's Fab on YouTube. I think I saw him do this the first time. That's how I learned how to do it. So you can see it was pretty curved. It's pretty straight now. I think 6 was the right one. If I had like 2-inch holes, maybe 5 would have worked. But the 1.5-inch dimple, I think 6 was the right number. All right, I'm gonna go ahead, finish drilling out the other one, and then put the dimple dies in it, and then we'll go over to the truck. Hopefully today. I haven't eaten lunch yet, so I'm getting a little hungry. So go over to the truck. Hopefully today we'll be able to weld it in. I don't think I showed even what the template looks like on here. So this is the main idea here. You can see it's not all the way down at the bottom here, and it's not all the way up to the top just because I wouldn't be able to get it to weld in there. But I think that's enough. I might round the top corner. One, I don't want to weld it to a point because that'll be where a stress crack could happen. Same on the bottom. It tucks inside the windshield frame. I don't think I'm going to be able to put a glass windshield back in here. One, I don't think they make them anymore. And two, the seal that goes in here wouldn't fit. I'm sure I could do something, maybe just glue the window in. I'll probably try maybe a Lexan window or something without spending thousands of dollars just to get a windshield back in. Or who knows, maybe I'll just wear a helmet and go no window. All right, so as you can see, it's being held in there right now. We got all the roll cage cleaned up and the A-pillar cleaned up. Where's the switch? There we go. I did that off camera because you guys see me grind enough. I'm gonna go ahead and put at least a tack on top and tack on bottom on the cage. And then I don't know if I want to TIG inside or MIG the inside. I don't know how much room I have to get in there with the pedal and everything. I do have another torch that has the finger trigger, but I don't like using that one. I don't know if it's because I suck with it or what. I mean, I'm not good without it either, but better than I once was. So we're going to go ahead and at least tack it here. Tack up at the top, tack up at the bottom. So the cage is just DOM. It's not chromoly or anything like that. I'd probably destroy chromoly. Hey Chris, why don't you have fingerprints? Because I don't wear gloves when I weld. Oh, I'm an idiot. It's hot. All right. So it's tacked in, tacked in. I need to find a light. I don't even know if I could fit in here. You know, I'm never doing another small vehicle. Never again. Of course, I say that, but every night I get on Marketplace and look at mini trucks and Miatas and 240s and BMWs and other stuff I can't fit in. Oh, I really need to find a light. First rule of welding, get comfortable. Second rule of welding, find a light. Oh, the shakes and the hunger are setting in. Remember, welding on an empty stomach. Third rule of welding. I plan on stitch welding. So I'll do a stitch, leave a gap, probably stitch another 2 inches there, leave a gap, and another 2 inches there. I don't know. Something like that. So if one of my gorgeous welds here cracks, it's not going to crack the whole way down. It'll crack and then hit a gap, stop. Hopefully I'll catch it before it sits there and flops around and kills me. But like I said, fourth or fifth rule of welding is weld on an empty stomach, and I'm starving. So I'm going to call it quits until after dinner sometime. You can see here if you follow CM Fabs, 17 rules of welding, you'll have beautiful welds like mine. All right. So hopefully you guys have faith that this cage will hold up just like me. I think that's all I'm going to get done for right now. I'll come back out probably after dinner, knock out the passenger side, at least get it tacked in there. And then, I don't know, we'll see what we can knock out tomorrow. All right, it's dinner time, so I'll see you guys in a second. All right, so we got our 2 gussets installed. It took a little while. I did most of the welding on time lapse just so you guys didn't have to watch me weld for like an hour. They are welded to the cage and tacked to the cab. I'm probably going to do the cab welding off camera just because me and the camera don't fit in the cab together. The cab is small and I am not as small as I once was. So we're going to do that off camera. Maybe on a time lapse if I can get the GoPro in there. Again, this video is already getting kind of long. I don't want to make it any longer than it needs to be, especially for just 2 simple gussets. In the next video, we'll probably knock out maybe some motor mounts or maybe the lower gussets down here that I was going to make in this video. We'll see. I really want to do motor mounts because I just want to see what the motor looks like in there, or the engine, sorry. It is an engine, not a motor, I guess. It's not electric. Either way, that's going to do it for this video. If you notice anything I did wrong, have any suggestions for something I can do better in the future, please put it down in a comment. Every little bit helps. Likes, comments, shares, all that stuff helps. The channel is growing very, very slowly. Either way, I'm going to keep making videos because it means I get to keep working on this thing. So I appreciate it either way. That's going to do it for this one. Thank you so much for watching. Everybody, welcome back to CM Fab. I'm Chris. This is my 1981 Toyota. And there's an airplane. My helmet's dead. Now that I'm blind, go ahead and swap out these batteries. Oh, good thing for fast forward, huh? Remember that first rule of welding. Always be comfortable. Don't I look comfortable right now? Hey everybody, welcome back to CM. I totally hit that.